Are you someone who deals with chronic neck pain? You go to sleep with it at night and you have 20 different pillows because you're trying to solve this issue and make it better, but yet none of those pillows seem to work. And then throughout the day, it goes into your upper back and into your shoulders and sometimes even down your arm. And heck, this pain hurts so much that it really disrupts your everyday life. Well, you're not alone because many people suffer from this. So that's why in today's video, we're talking about the causes of it and some actual natural treatment solutions that really work. But before we get started, I'm Dr. Nick Zarowski and welcome to the channel. Be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and be sure to make your way on over to www.drz.tv for my whole library of natural health videos. Now, this article starts off by saying just about everyone experiences some sort of neck pain throughout their lives. After all, people are living longer, and that is why. Well, let me tell you folks, the reason that people are suffering from neck pain has nothing to do with living longer. As a matter of fact, the idea that the overall lifespan is increased is actually just false. The reason that we hear this all the time is because what has happened is the medical system, the positive things that the medical system has done is that they're keeping young children alive longer. It was very hard back in the day for children to survive. You'd get viral infections and bacterial infections, and children would die very often at a very young age. And as a result of that, it brought the average lifespan way down. And so now that we're able to keep children alive much longer, well, the lifespan has dramatically increased. Unfortunately for the elderly, it really hasn't increased. And the reason for that is because chronic disease like cancer and heart disease and diabetes is so bad that it's killing people at a very young age. So first of all, the idea that people are having more neck pain because of the lifespan increasing is false, and the whole idea of the lifespan actually increasing is a totally false thing as well. We're just keeping the young alive. That brings the average age up significantly. Now, while most neck issues are temporary occurrences, sometimes they can develop into chronic problems, and that's true. Some people wake up and their neck hurts a little bit and it just goes away and is no big deal. So let's talk about what causes this neck pain, right? Because we've heard already that it is because people are living longer. There was a spinal surgery article that I had read, and they said, well, you know why it is? It's because there's a lot of people that are aging right now. Well, there's some truth to that, right? We have a larger population of elderly right now, so I can buy into that. And then they also said the reason for it is because, well, we have such great imaging today, and we're able to actually identify these problems. No, I don't agree with that. That's false. So let's look at the real problems. Now, because of the pandemic, many people in early 2020, they started working from home instead of the office. And because they were on their computers all day and on their phones and tablets, they hold their body in a very unusual angle for a long period of time. Their necks hunched over and their upper back all rounded, and this is called tech neck. This posture can result in neck spasms, creaky neck, and your shoulder joints hurting, along with some pretty bad headaches, okay? When people look down at their devices, such as their smartphones and their computers, especially or at very extreme angles, the muscles in the back of the neck become contracted and cause a lot of pain for you. The more you look down, the more the muscles have to work to keep your head up. These muscles can get overly tired and sore from looking down at your smartphone, computer, and your tablet all day. And this is actually pretty common knowledge. I mean, this is the reason that so many young children are having chronic neck pain. I see it all the time in my practice. And, I tell their parents, you got to get them off the tech a little bit. Either that or make sure they're holding it appropriately, which we'll talk about some different ways that you can reduce this in just a second. Now, this is a serious problem because spinal fusion, spinal surgeries have increased by 32% since the year 2004. Okay, that's significant. And all the reasons that I had mentioned, the longevity thing and all that, that's all false, right? The real reason that we're having a huge increase is because more people are on technology than ever before. Think about our ancestors, right? They went out and they foraged for food and they moved and they did the things that humans were kind of designed to do, at a core level. Our DNA, that's what we were designed to do. But as we don't live lifestyles like that, and people sit at a computer all day on a laptop or a tablet and smartphone looking down, and kids for hours and hours looking down, texting their friends and on social media, well, now we live completely different than we used to. Here's a real problem. When we look at your spine, it's a stack of joints, okay? And this stack of joints needs movement in order for these joints to become lubricated and stay healthy. Well, the fact is when you're sitting for hours and hours every day, you really compress all these joints, and gravity plays a toll on them, and over time causes a lot of degenerative problems. Now, many people, they have these spinal issues for years and years before they ever address them. Whenever I ask somebody, and it's not just spinal issues, let's talk about any chronic disease, right? Or chronic problem in the body. Somebody might have diabetes and you say, well, how long have you had a blood sugar issue? Oh man, it's been like 10 years. How long have you had this pain in your neck? And they say, oh, it's been 20 years I've been dealing with this, right? And then of course they do something about it. And many times when people are trying to do something, they've waited too long, okay? So let me just show you real quick what we're dealing with here, okay? Because what we're dealing with when someone has chronic neck pain is we're dealing with a very unhealthy structural problem. So we have to look at the core of what's happening here. A lot of people get massage therapy. They get frustrated because they get a massage and then their pain comes right back. Well, you can massage these muscles till the cows come home. You can put all types of topicals on there to give you relief. But the fact is, unless you fix the core issue, it will always come back. So to the right side, what we have is a very straight spine, and to the left side, we see this nice curvature in there. That nice curvature is how your spine is supposed to look. It's very protective to the discs and the joints, and you don't get the muscle spasms. Well, when you have this straight neck, like you see here with the red X on it, essentially what happens is these front joints in the spine, they become crushed, and it causes disc degeneration. This would be referred to as degenerative disc disease. It also causes degenerative joint disease, where you see the actual vertebral body start to break down. The other thing that happens, you get chronic neck spasms, you get upper back pain. You also even get something called adverse mechanical cord tension. This straight neck causes more tension in the spinal cord itself, causing neurological issues, okay, neurological disturbances in the body. So if you want to get to the core of the problem, you have to address it head on. This is it, folks. It's not any other thing but this, okay? And so we want to make sure that we're addressing this because, as we mentioned before, we're seeing this huge spike in spinal surgeries. And look, nobody wants that. And if you want to feel good and have a better life, then this is one of the things that you should really pay attention to. Let's talk about how to do that. So first, it says, take breaks. How do you deal with this neck pain? Well, take breaks. If you work, and your work involves sitting at a computer and looking at a phone a lot throughout the day, make sure that you're taking breaks. I have people who tell me all the time that ever since they've been working at home, they have been in a position where they roll out of bed, walk 10 steps to their desk, sit down, and a lot of times their spouse is actually bringing them lunch at the desk, and they're not even getting up and moving until later on that night. Well, as I told you before, that movement's very important, but also getting up and stretching is going to be important too. Let's talk about some spinal hygiene, right? Here, take a screenshot of this for real, because this is something that if you incorporate like 2 to 3 times a day throughout your workday, it's going to be very, very helpful. And what this is it basically just some simple stretches that you can incorporate that help basically expand the chest, stretch out the upper back, and stretch your neck, and it's just going to bring you some relief, okay? Let's go ahead and talk about some other ways that you can get relief. Now, this article says mindful meditation, okay? And I really like to go and pull up other resources so that we can see what the common thought process is as to how you're going to overcome these issues, and then what the reality is coming from someone who's dealing with these types of things clinically every day. Now, I think mindful meditation is important because it can help you relieve stress, and when people are stressed, their shoulders are up to their ears and there's a lot of neck tension. But the reality is that I don't believe it's going to fix your neck problems, okay? I think it can be a piece, but I don't think it's going to be a solution by any chance. Now, also they say in this article, invest in a water-based pillow. Okay, there's a problem with this. Now, I'm all for having a good pillow, but I rarely tell people to go get a new pillow because the fact is that good pillows are expensive. And then when you go and you spend $150 on a really good quality pillow, or even more than that, I mean, some of these pillows are upwards of $1,000. Well, then you're left with a really good pillow, but a neck problem that it doesn't matter how much you spent on the pillow. Your neck problems still exist. And so you have this problem where if you recommend someone to get a pillow and they get it and they spend all that money, they're upset with you because their neck problem remains the same. So a pillow will rarely get you out of that problem. Now it can, right? A mattress and pillow does play a role in how your spine is going to feel, but remember that there's far more to it than that, okay? Now get a neck supporting chair. Once again, I think it's good to have a good quality chair and make sure that you have a proper workstation set up. You want your computer at eye level. You want to make sure that you're sitting up straight. How I always tell people to think of their posture is imagine, kind of holding your shoulders back underneath your ears, right? They shouldn't be rounded forward. Hold them back and underneath your ears. Keep your head upright and drive the crown of your head towards the ceiling, okay? Think of that posture, right? Think about that for a minute. You can start to feel if you're doing it and you're driving the crown of your head towards the ceiling, keeping your shoulders back, you essentially find yourself in a posture that, more or less feels like you're giving your neck a good stretch. So that's a proper posture. So having a good chair is important, but is the chair going to solve all your issues? Absolutely not. A standing desk is a good option as well. I think that having a standing desk is something that almost everybody should have. You should go from seated a little bit throughout the day to standing and change your work positions a little bit, all while making sure that you're doing some stretches. Now, one of the things that you also want to do, and this is really getting to the core of the issue, right? I mean, here's the thing, is that a lot of people are trying to solve complex problems by, throwing solutions at it that just won't fix them, right? I see that all the time. I have people going, Dr. Zarowski, what supplement should I take to solve, this issue? I've been having, bleeding in my intestines. It's like, there's no supplement that you're just going to take that's going to fix this. This takes a big lifestyle overhaul and, supplement. I mean, it's going to take a lot, right? This is a serious issue. Well, it's the same type of thing with this. Like, this is a big problem. The chance that you're just going to stretch your way out of this and find the right pillow and chair and that's all going to be better is unlikely, right? So getting chiropractic care that actually focuses on the structure of the neck is something that's very valuable, okay? And this is something, when you go and you seek out chiropractic care, ask them, say, hey, I have a chronic neck pain. When you see your x-rays, you'll be able to identify if you're watching this video right away. I got that straight neck. What are you going to do to solve this for me, right? And make sure that they have a good treatment plan for you. So that's a good solution as well. And then the other thing that you can do too, and this is helpful, is you can roll up a towel really tight, lay it on the floor, and lay on top of that towel. Now imagine if you had a towel that was rolled in a really, really tight, let's say a hand towel of some sort, and you were to put it right behind the neck, right where you see this nice curvature, right? It would help with that curvature. Now, if your neck looked straight like this one over here, it would help put that curvature back in it. That's another thing you can do, all right? Some people even hang their head off the side of their bed. So you lay on your back and hang your head off the side of your bed. That can be helpful for just opening up and stretching these ligaments all across the front of your spine, opening up these discs. It'll help them become healthier. So there's some options for you, okay? We have to make sure that we're looking at real solutions to real problems. And we are not just thinking that we can solve everything on our own. We have to make sure that we're addressing these issues because spinal surgery is a real thing. And the problem is that once you let this go real bad, like you're in a tough spot, right? Somebody has diabetes, for instance. Man, you can take them and give them a really good quality of life. If somebody has high blood pressure, you can lower their blood pressure and life goes on. High cholesterol, you lower their cholesterol, life goes on. Somebody has a degenerative musculoskeletal issue, not that easy. You're kind of stuck with that, right? You only have one body. Take good care of it. So use these solutions in order to start making that neck pain go away. You can use topicals as well. I'm a big fan of topicals. I mean, once again, the only reason I ever shy away from them is because people think that that is how they're going to fix their problem. It's not, right? But it can offer you some relief. I like using some peppermint oil. That's great. And the other thing we have to look to, right? Because we talked about, all these different things that you can do. Sometimes you have an inflammatory issue in that joint, and inflammation in the joint causes pain. So then we look to a nutritional a nutritional resource like following an anti-inflammatory diet. And I also use a supplement called Herbal Flam, which is a really great herbal anti-inflammatory. And I have people rave about this because it works really well. Once again, if you find yourself in chronic pain all over your body, well, then you really want to make sure that you are focusing on decreasing inflammation, because inflammation in the body can lead to all kinds of issues. It can lead to cancer and heart disease. And, as a matter of fact, there's a really simple test that you can do at home. It's a urine challenge test, and it's super cheap. It's like $20. I'll put a link in the description below to it. But you can take this little test and it'll tell you if there's inflammation in the body, if there's a cellular breakdown in the body. And it's a slick little test, but it's just a little, it's a little vial that comes, and you basically put a few drops of urine in it, and the color will tell you to what extent you have inflammation in the body. I'll put a link of that in the description below too. I think you'll find it really helpful. So that's what I recommend for you to do in order to overcome neck pain, and do it the correct way, and not like this article is saying where you're just kind of meditating your way through it. If you enjoyed this video, I think you'll really like this video next.